I'm a welcoming dude. I'm really outgoing. So yeah, I feel like, if you don't even know who I am and you just want to tune into the podcast and listen for a little bit, I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. So I had to make this theme song for the people.
Yo, the four agreements, what I'm reading for the show. Flyest Michael on the microphone that you know. Yo, my pen was bleeding, got me thinking, what should I do? Filmed the first 2 interviews, I put a pin in it. I wasn't confident yet, but I kept working still. Iron sharpens iron, hit Jinx, I hit Jay out in Charlottesville. Chill was my persona and the Polaroids my passion. Used to act and had a knack for spitting facts about whatever. The pod is my pleasure, and I'm known to dance with hammers, rocking stages, twisting grand becomes a handy. Nike Corteezies on my phalanges, climbing mountains like the Andes. I do this for my granny, and I do it till they stand me with that verified. Voices amplified across galaxies, we global soon. Duplantis over moons, guess you could say that I was born to fly. Immortalized and polies, and my guests are the best. Staring them east to west behind my tiny desk. Yes, yes, yes. Grab you a seat and sip some green tea. A blessed prayer. I said green tea.
What's going on? Welcome back to. Oh, this isn't the Polaroid Podcast. My fault. My name is Michael Codrington. People know me as Cod, Michael. And this is the theme song, the Polaroid Podcast theme song. I feel like podcasts don't really have theme songs like that. I was really inspired by, those shows where, like it's their name and they sing the theme song and that kind of stuff. So that's what I decided to do. And I had to show the people I could rap a little. So that's what it is. So tap in. I just wanted to make a theme song that everybody feels like they can just sit down and play, and relate to and feel welcome. So I got to give a big shout out to the man behind the camera, Jinx Grand himself. Amir sent me a beat pack. I kind of told him, the outline on what I wanted to do for the video, but, there was a lot that was just kind of up in the air, and he just let me do what I had to do. I let him do what he had to do, and I was able to record in this studio. It was an incredible process, man. I really recorded a theme song.
Killed the whole beat and I wrote this whole thing in 10 minutes.
I was inspired to do this by, lots of my favorite artists. I love listening to Jay-Z, Earl Sweatshirt. I don't even know, bro. It's just too many people to name. I just wanted to, submit my piece to that beautiful, just history and tradition of people making music and expressing how they feel. This is how I feel, and I appreciate you for listening to it. And that's really what it is with the podcast too. Every time you listen to an episode, I feel like you're seeing more parts of myself. You're seeing more parts of my guests. Because people, if you really listen, people share a lot of intimate details about their life on there, and you really see how we are the sum of all of our parts. And I think that's the message. That's the message. Shout out Grandmaster Flash. The 4 agreements, what I'm reading for the show. Flyest Michael on the microphone that yo, my pen was bleeding, got me thinking, what should I do? Yeah, so the 4 agreements, man, I think it's really, changed the way that I think about interpersonal relationships and just what I want to get out of them, what I want to give off to the world. And, there's 4 agreements in here, and it's things that I try to implement more in my everyday life. So I'm the Flyest Michael on the microphone that you know. I don't really have a rap name or nothing, so I'm Michael. Yeah, my pen was bleeding. I was writing. I didn't know what I wanted to do necessarily yet, but that goes into the next part. Filmed the first 2 interviews. I put a pin in it. I wasn't confident yet, but I kept working still. Iron sharpens iron, hit Jinx. I hit Jay out in Charlottesville. Yeah, so like I said, I wasn't super confident in myself at the beginning, but I just knew I had to keep working. I did the first 2 interviews. Shout out Makai, shout out Monet. Back-to-back days. And, I had a little steam going. But that was right before COVID. So that was February 18th and 19th, right before COVID. And COVID just kind of put a roadblock in my plans. And again, it added that I wasn't, super confident in myself yet. But I posted the episodes on Facebook and on SoundCloud. And that's, that led to me talking to Amiri and Jason about it. And I was just like, what y'all think, that kind of stuff. And I got Amiri on, but Jay, you seeing this, man? I ain't get you on yet. So, Jay out in Charlottesville, man, I'll get him on soon. And shout out UVA, they just won a national championship in lacrosse. Shout out UVA. Chill was my persona and the Polaroids my passion. Used to act and had a knack for spitting facts about whatever. I can be hyper at times, but it's just, because I get excited around people. I'm like a dog, bro. I get excited around people. I'm super extroverted that way. But Chill is my persona and the Polaroid is my passion. This is the Polaroid, man. Can we get a zoom in of the Polaroid? Shout out my uncle, man. He got this for me for Christmas a couple years ago. I lost it. Or it was in possession of, my good friend Henry for a while. And then, I got it back. And, I just love taking Polaroid pictures. I think that, pictures last longer. And I have tons of Polaroids. I got like an album of them or something like that. So I used to do musicals, theater, that kind of stuff. And that's not to say I'm retired or nothing. I still think that, there's a lot more of that in my future. I just don't know in what capacity yet, but I love it, I overcame like a lot of stage fright to just, be that guy underneath the spotlight or be, an ensemble member even. And doing that really changed my life, helped me find my voice. The ad-lib in here, too, is in the back, man. Shout out Conway the Machine, La Máquina. He's tough. And, he has this little talk to him ad-lib. That's like my favorite ad-lib right now. So I had to put it into my song. So shout out Conway. The pod is my pleasure, and I'm known to dance with hammers, rocking stages, twisting grammar comes in handy. Nike Corteezies on my phalanges, climbing mountains like the Andes. Yeah, so the pod is my pleasure. People ask me all the time why I do it, what I do it for enjoyment. I love it. I love, being a conversationalist, sitting down and just really talking to people about what they do, who they are. And I think, it brings us all closer. And I'm glad if I can make anybody's day a little better. I mean that for real. I'm known to dance with hammers, rock stages, and twist grammar. So in college, I'm on a track team, man, and I love throwing hammer. I didn't think I would. Because it's like, people don't really throw hammer in high school like that. I think it's only legal in like 20 states. Like, seriously. So in high school, I threw discus, and I, very poorly, threw shot put. Yeah, man, I love throwing hammer. Shout out to all my throwing group teammates and track teammates at HU. HU! I was going to cut that part out. But rocking stages. I like to rock a stage every now and then, whether it be, musical performance or, whatever. I surprise people, I guess. I'll do anything up there. I love doing poetry. I haven't really, got into space to like go out and do a poem in a while, but like, a lot of people know me as just a poet, so it's like I like to get on stage, show people what I got, and twisting grammar. I'm an English major in school, and look, let me know in the comments if you think I was twisting grammar in this song or not, because I think I was twisting grammar. So Nike Corteezies, I love Nike Corteezies. They're like the most comfortable shoe, and they're pretty cheap. I have a pair on as we speak, like right now. I don't get the socking because my sock kind of dirty, but like I love Nike Corteezies for a fact. If y'all want to sponsor me, y'all can. Oh, right, and phalanges. So when I was in 4th grade, shout out Miss Brunazzi, my science teacher. We played a game head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Cranium, scapula, patella, phalanges. And so that's the only reason I know that phalanges is, means feet in like a scientific term or something. Yeah, so that's why I said phalanges. Nike Corteezies on my phalanges. I do this for my granny, and I do it till they stamp me with that verified. Voices amplified across galaxies. We global soon. Duplantis over moons. Guess you could say that I was born to fly. Yeah, so I do this for my granny. Shout out my grandma. I do it for a lot of people. I do it for my grandmother. My grandfather passed away. My grandparents on my other side of my family. My sister, my brother, everybody. Bro, I do it for everybody. I do it for everybody, but at the end of the day, you got to do it for yourself too. I wouldn't do this if I didn't love it, like I said before. So, do it for my granny. I do it till they stamp me with that verified, man. I need a verified check. I feel like if you're gonna have a platform, you should, do the best you can to amplify voices that wouldn't otherwise be amplified, including your own. It's not like everybody doesn't have to want to get on the same platform. That's the point of having multiple different platforms. So, what I hope the end be all is for my platform is, I can get people on, amplify their voices, and like I said, just highlight what they're doing, highlight who they are, highlight the communities that they're a part of. And we global soon. I think the first time I ever checked the stats on my podcast ever, there was like 5 or 10 countries listed on there, like of people who had listened, like where they lived at, and that really stuck out to me because I've never left the country before. So just seeing seeing that people who don't live in the country might have listened made me feel really good inside, and it also made me think about expanding. Like why just do the Polaroid Podcast in Brooklyn or DC or America? I'm about to start doing this in different countries. We'll see. I got another shout out in here for Mondo Duplantis. He's like the rawest pole vaulter ever, and he's like 20 years old, like a real prodigy in the pole vault. Duplantis over moons, that's just me saying like the sky's the limit. Duplantis over moons, I guess you could say I was born to fly, and that's like his hashtag. He uses hashtag born to fly. So shout out Mondo, man, he's a goat. Immortalizing polies and my guests are the best, steering them east to west behind my tiny desk. Yes, 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 grab you a seat and sip some green tea, or press play on road trips while you chillin in the backseat. I like that bar. Immortalizing polies, like I said, man, like I feel like you really like a picture says 1,000 words, but like it's kind of like like you extending your bloodline, you know, in a picture. Like, think about that. It's kind of crazy, but like I keep Polaroids in my wallet. Like that's immortal to me. Like that's larger than life. Just like being able to see that, you know, capture that moment. You know, I date them, so it's like you know exactly what moment in time that was, and you have it for yourself. Immortalizing polies, and my guests are the best. Sincere shout out to every person that's been on my podcast. Even if I asked you to be on and then you had to decline for whatever reason, I still shout you out, you know, because, you know, it is what it is. Life gets in the way sometimes. But for the people that have been able to get on, like, that's, you know, yeah, you mean so much to me, you know, just having been on the podcast. And my guests are truly the best. I have people from, you know, all kinds of different backgrounds, all different disciplines, I guess, like, you know, musicians, artists, athletes, whatever, like, and I think that my guests are the best. Steering them east or west is not to mean like I'm telling them what to say. I tell like my guests like in the pre-show or whatever, like even though I'm interviewing them, I just kind of want to guide them because I really want the focus to be on them and their story. So at home, you know, I did the first, I can't even tell you how many episodes. I've done the majority of my episodes at home behind a, you know, tiny desk sitting on my bed, like just, you know, you just got to make it happen. That's kind of what the pandemic has taught a lot of us in, you know, some ways. So I'm just doing it at home behind my tiny desk. I'm a big tea guy. I try to drink 5 cups a week. That's you know, a little less than I should probably drink, but I try to drink like 5 cups a week. Love tea. Has, you know, lots of good benefits, effects, whatever you want to call them. But, you know, I just think it keeps me level-headed and, you know, it makes me feel better and, you know, have it with a meal, have it with some breakfast. And green tea especially, but I'm more particular to like a nighttime tea, like there's like Tension Tamer. I don't even know what brand that is, but if y'all know what I'm talking about, man. It's some good teas out there. Or you can you know, play the podcast while you're on a road trip. Like I had a couple friends who went on a road trip and they were like, yo, we just played your podcast from this state to this state, and that was super cool to me, you know. So you can play this podcast wherever. RadioPublic, Apple Podcasts, Pocketcasts, Spotify, Welcome back to the #1 podcast soundtrack. Known to rock a backpack, don't call this thing a comeback. Used to rap, in fact, on violins back in the 5th grade. #1 podcast soundtrack. In the rafters. No, I'm playing. Like I said, man, I just don't feel like people really are dedicated to the theme song, you know. But I am. So, #1 podcast soundtrack. I wear a backpack everywhere I go. This is a rare video of me without a backpack on, so retweet for good luck. But I have a backpack on like all the time. I usually have in it like a couple books, you know, notepad, like that kind of stuff. You know, real run-of-the-mill stuff. Some water, everybody hydrate. Some real run-of-the-mill stuff. I played violin for a good portion of my life, from 1st grade to 6th grade-ish, and then I started playing viola, and then I stopped in like 10th or 11th grade, but I really love the strings, and I mean, you could tell the strings on this beat are phenomenal. I love the strings. Yeah, man, I really do love the violin. It's a beautiful instrument. So, and that was my favorite part about playing the violin, other than, you know, making the music itself, was plucking, pizzicato, or being able to, like, you know, bang, rap on top of the violin. Back when I thought that I was Dwayne Wade, more like Dwayne Wayne, my world different, a calm limerick, killed this whole beat, and I wrote this whole thing in 10 minutes. Like I said too much, so I'm head out and let the strings take us out. Peace. Yeah, so back in the day, man, I loved basketball. And I think it was like a real reality check, like when I got cut from the team in 6th grade, because that's the first time I realized, like, maybe I'm not good enough to, you know, hang out with everybody every day and play basketball. But I loved it. I really did love it. I ended up playing again in like 8th grade, and then I played in 9th and 10th grade against other schools, but like I said, the league not for everybody. So I thought I was like Dwayne Wade, more like Dwayne Wayne. Shout out to Different World. Shout out Kadeem himself, man. I love A Different World, like one of the best shows. So shout out to Different World. My World Different, to call him limerick. Man, I just love the way that sounds. Let me toot my own horn for a second. No, I'm playing. My World Different, to call him limerick, man. Not to cause any misconceptions. I did not receive the beat, and then 10 minutes of time passed, and then this song was created. I had the beat, you know, a lot of time passed, and I just sat with it, and I played it on a loop by itself for a while. And then when I started writing, I did that in 10 minutes. So whenever that actually started, that was 10 minutes. Like I said too much, so I'm head out. So I also say that every episode. I feel like I've said too much, because I do talk a lot. And I let the strings take us out. Like I said, beautiful strings. Love to the Dramatics. If you've never heard the Dramatics before, I'm sorry. I bought a Dramatics record just the other day. Beautiful, beautiful artist, man. Shout out to Dramatics. Yeah.
Like I said too much, so I'ma head out and let the strings take us out. Peace. Love to the dramatics.
My curiosity. I was curious my whole life, like, about everything. Like, I definitely credit my mom, though. I think my mom just, raising so many young people at the same time, like me, my brother, my sisters, like, I think just raising us all at the same time, she pushed us to make our own discoveries about stuff, read books, actually go outside and discover stuff. So I think I was just curious about, things my entire life. I always wanted to peek and see what was behind the door. And in some cases, that's a good thing. And that could lead to, a podcast theme song. In other cases, that leads to broken bones or, clumsy stuff that happened to me as a kid. So, yeah.